Hello, I'm Mr. Jacobson, and as I continue my foray into the world of microbrands, I've come across this Nethuns mythological horology, and as soon as I told my video producer about it, he actually got quite excited. So, welcome everybody to the Nethuns Scuba 500. According to the manual that you get with the box, Nethuns is part of Etruscan mythology and was basically the god of wells, water, and the sea. This is a very, very nice little manual that you get. It reads great, looks great, and feels great. Never said that about a manual before. And then we have the actual box. The inner box slides out like that, and then you just flick it open. The box has two little metal pegs here that keeps it all together. Flip it open, and there we have it. A diver's watch if ever I saw one. The first impression that you get from the watch is that it reminds you of a Tudor. You have the snowflake hands and the dial and the bezel. The indices are applied and you have a nice gold tint to them. You also have the Scuba 500 in red. This is not the original strap. It originally comes on black rubber, but the previous owner had switched, and I think this looks better. And here you can see the back. The thing you need to remember about this watch is that it is absolutely enormous. You have a 41mm diameter, 15mm of height, and 22mm between the lugs. It also has a sine crown and a helium escape valve. A couple of things to note is that the bezel is black, but it shifts to green in different lighting, and the dial is actually wine brownish red, which is very pretty. And all of this is driven by the Seiko NH35 movement. Furthermore, you can really scramble your brains underwater with this one, because it is certified to 50 bar, or 500 meters. Here you can see the nice applied indices, and how they give off nice little shadowing. There is applied lume on the hands, indices, and the bezel. Trust me, there's a lot of quality here. Since you are meant to scramble your brains underwater, you have the full diving equipment. As I said before, you have the helium escape valve, 120 click uni-directional bezel, screw down crown, and the 50 bar certification. I'm not going to try it out, but go on, I dare you. The most amazing thing about this watch is that it retails for about $300, and you get the Seiko hacking NH35 movement with that, and not some Miyota that doesn't hack. The watch feels built like a tank, and feels like a tank on your wrist too, because it's quite heavy. But then again, this is a watch that you wear because you want wrist presence. So think of it as an oversized, slightly fatter Tudor, and a watch that you don't have to service so often because it has a very low BPH. I also think it looks very classy, maybe even slightly dressy, with a brown leather strap. Another factor that I just love about this watch is that it is so vintage. And with this, I'm basically in love. It's cheap, it's well built, it's stylish, you get all the details you want, and basically there are very few drawbacks, apart from one that I will return to later. My producer even called this a Seiko killer, and coming from him, that's very high praise. He doesn't usually like microbrands, but this one had us both going, and very excited indeed. And now let's take a look at what it looks like on a wrist. As usual, my wrist is 19 centimeters or 7.48 inches or 0.000944 furlongs. And as you can see, this is quite a beast. And that is basically the drawback that I want to get back to. It is huge. And this is a watch that does not pass the shirt cuff test. And also, I don't think that if you have a smaller wrist you will be able to carry this one, because my wrist is quite sizable, and I feel I can barely pull it off. It is mythological in size. Here you can see the sapphire glass, and there is AR coating, and at this price point, that is quite phenomenal. It is such a clean and classic watch, and I think this is a true keeper. And if you have the wrist, it's a no-brainer. So for your $300 you get a massive Seiko killer, with the NH35 movement, sapphire glass, anti-reflective coating, and just an overall great watch. I'm gonna come clean as usual and say that I only paid $200 for it. If you can find it at that price, go for it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Mr. Jacobson. I wish you all a fantastic day.